Russia deploys Admiral Kasatonov missile frigate to Algeria to signal Western Mediterranean reach. Russia has brought the frigate Admiral of the Fleet Kasatonov and tanker Akademik Pashin to Oran, the Algerian Ministry of National Defense said after their June 22, 2026, arrival, giving Moscow a visible naval presence on Algeria's western Mediterranean coast, near the approaches to Gibraltar. The stopover matters because it places a long-range Russian missile frigate in a region central to NATO sea control, energy routes, and North African maritime security. The deployment pairs strike, air defense, anti-submarine, and escort capability with an organic replenishment ship, extending Russia's ability to show presence far from home waters. For Algeria, the visit reinforces naval ties with a key arms supplier while exposing its fleet to systems and missions central to modern Mediterranean deterrence. Admiral Kasatonov is the second frigate of the Admiral Gorshkov-class, built at Severnaya Werft in St. Petersburg and commissioned into the Russian Navy in 2020. The frigate is about 135 meters long, displaces roughly 5,000 tons, reaches 29 knots, carries more than 170 personnel, and uses a diesel gas turbine power plant rated at about 65,000 horsepower. These figures matter because the ship is small enough for repeated overseas deployments, but carries weapons normally associated with larger surface combatants. Technical data on the Admiral Gorshkov class also lists a 500 nautical mile range at 14 knots and 30 days of endurance. Ezoic. The frigate's main offensive system is the 3S-14 UKSK vertical launcher, with 16 cells on the early project 22,350 ships, such as Admiral Kasatonov. Those cells can be loaded with caliber land attack cruise missiles, 3M54 caliber anti-ship missiles, P-800 Onyx supersonic anti-ship missiles, or, after reported modernization, 3M22 Zircon missiles. Public missile data lists the 3M14 caliber land attack missile at about 1,500 to 2,500 kilometers, while the 3M54 anti-ship variant is assessed at 220 to 300 kilometers depending on version. Onyx is listed at 300 kilometers, with a ramjet engine, about Mach 2.2 speed, and a 10-15-meter terminal flight profile. Interfax reported in December 2023 that the frigate's commander, Captain First Rank Alexei Ryabashtin, said 4 Zircon missiles had been loaded after modernization, although no test firing from Admiral Kasatonov had yet occurred. Its defensive armament gives the frigate more than a missile strike role. The Polymetry air defense system combines phased array radar with 32 REDET vertical launch cells and can fire 9 M100, 9 M96M, and 9 M96 surface war missiles. The long-range missile has been reported to intercept targets at up to 150 kilometers and 30 kilometers altitude. The ship also carries a 130mm A192M naval gun, Palash-Closian weapons, Paket-NK anti-submarine and anti-torpedo launchers, Zarya M hull sonar, Vinyeka towed array sonar, and a Ka-27 helicopter. In practical terms, this means the frigate can protect itself against aircraft and missiles, search for submarines, engage surface targets, and conduct limited coastal fire support without relying on a larger Russian task group. Akademik Pashin is not a secondary detail. The Project 23130 tanker is 130 meters long, 21.5 meters wide, has a 9,000-ton deadweight, and is designed to transfer fuel and cargo to ships at sea. It has been reported to refuel up to 3 vessels simultaneously. Published shipyard data lists a 16-knot speed, 8,000 nautical mile range, 60 days of endurance, Arc 4 ice-class construction, and a cargo roll covering diesel fuel, bunker fuel, aviation kerosene, engine oil, water, provisions, and technical stores. This explains why the Russian detachment pairs a missile frigate with a tanker. The combat ship's Mediterranean value depends less on the port visit itself than on the ability to sustain movement between the Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Russian support points. Ezoic. For Algeria, the visit sits inside a defense relationship that is measurable rather than symbolic. SIPRI reported that Russia accounted for 48% of Algeria's arms imports in 2020-2024, ahead of China at 19% and Germany at 14%. although Algerian imports from Russia fell sharply compared with 2015-2019. The naval link is especially visible in submarines. Algeria operates Project 636 kilo-class submarines such as Messali El Hajj, Akram Pasha, El Warsenis, and El Hagar, alongside older Project 877 EKM boats. A stopover by Admiral Kasatonov, therefore, offers Algerian officers exposure to Russian missile integration, acoustic sensors, and shipborne air defense rather than only protocol-level contact. The tactical significance should not be overstated. One frigate and one tanker do not change the Mediterranean naval balance. The concrete effect is narrower but still relevant. Russia demonstrates that it can move a Northern Fleet long-range missile frigate into the Western Mediterranean with organic logistics, while Algeria maintains access to Russian naval expertise at a time when Moscow's export capacity and overseas access face constraints. For NATO navies, the Oran call is another data point in tracking Russian surface ship endurance, replenishment patterns, and missile carrier availability. For Algeria, it reinforces a procurement and training relationship centered on systems that already shape its submarine, air defense, and naval strike posture.